to develop an artistic style if you are a self-taught artist? I think developing a style of work can be really tricky, and if you're like me and you are self-taught, it can be even more difficult to do without any guidance. So today I'm going to share with you how I personally went about cultivating my artistic style. Now, to understand how I thought about developing an art style, you need to know a little bit about me. This is my mum and this is my dad. They've been married for 47 years. They are very different people. My mum's all like,
follow your dreams, revolt against the system, I believe in you.
and my dad is like,
life is tough, keep in line, earn as much money as you possibly can.
when I call my mum and she answers the phone, she's like, how are you feeling today? And when my dad answers the phone, he's like, have you earned any money today? Now, of course, my dad cares about my well-being and my mum doesn't want me to starve to death. But these two people who brought me up have very different approaches to life. And I'm very much a product of this upbringing. So that means I have been on a mission to do what I love and to earn that money. This means when it came to developing my art style, I considered the following things. 1, what do I love doing? Number 2, what is commercially attractive to clients? And if you just make art for a hobby, fantastic, you enjoy, you don't need to worry about that stuff. But if you want to pay your rent making art, the reality is if you make something super avant-garde that you love but nobody else sees a value in, they're not going to pay you to make that art. So today I'm going to walk you through the decisions that I made, the methodology I used to refine my art style, how I studied other artists' careers to inform my own, and industry factors that I considered to make sure that my work was commercially viable. Get your notebook, let's do this. Hello, welcome to my studio. My name is Hannah Bennyhood. I'm an artist and an architect, and on this channel I share my creative journey and the lessons I've learned along the way. If that's something that is of interest of you, please do subscribe to my channel so you can see more. Why don't you give this video a thumbs up like right now? I'm telling you, it's good. You're gonna like it. Before I give you like these strategic tips, I don't think that you can do this cynically. Like, I really believe you have to genuinely love what you're doing. Like, people can feel passion and can feel if you're faking it. And also, if you're just doing this for money, I mean, there are so many easier ways to make money. It would kind of be like a mad thing to do. So this is all about doing something you truly love, but thinking about how you can earn money from it. Okay, so the first thing that I did was think about what I want for my life and what my kind of dream career looked like. And I picked a selection of artists that I look up to, that I am aiming for. For me, I really wanted to be a public artist building large-scale installation work, which is like a fabulous aspiration, but is really tough to break into. So what I decided to do was study the careers of the artists that were doing the kind of work that I wanted to do. So for me, I was looking at artists like Camille Walala, Yinka Alori, Morag Magaiskov, and Laquena. All these artists create large-scale work that I would like to create as well. When you actually look at the trajectory of their work and what they did to get to where they are, nearly all of them worked on murals. I realised that murals were going to be key to unlocking a public art career for myself. One problem: I don't paint. I had never done a mural in my life, and all of a sudden I had the realisation I've got to do murals. So this is your first task. Write down your dream career and what artists are in that space, and then go back, go through their Instagram, go through their website, and actually look at what they have done over the years to get to where they are. So I knew I needed to do murals, but I had no idea what these murals were going to look at. So the next thing I need to do was choose a medium. Like, what am I going to work in to design these murals? And so what I did was think about what I'm already naturally quite good at. And this can be like a personality trait, like are you a very patient person, or it could be an actual skill that you have. Up to then, because I worked as an architect, I was quite computer literate, so I decided that I would develop my art style digitally. It's what I felt most comfortable in, it's the way that I thought I could make the most progress the quickest. And so I got myself a tablet. I absolutely love the tablet. I love that you can kind of make your work anywhere. I love the undo button. I did actually try painting, like painting on a canvas, and it lasted a week. It drove me up the wall. I had no patience for it. It looked I was just like, no, this isn't me, next. But maybe you're a super patient person and I don't know, you have an attribute for sewing. So like maybe that's how you could cultivate your artistic practice. It kind of really depends on what you feel called to. So your next task is to think about what your personality type is, what kind of skill sets you already have, and think about what would be the best medium for you to cultivate your artistic style. So the next stage comes to like, okay, well now what are you gonna draw or make? And this is when I suggest you look at what is getting commissioned. These successful artists are not successful by accident. There are curators, there are commissioners who are choosing them and paying them again and again to make their artwork. Now, all of the artists that I adore and that I listed, I mean, they all have their own style, but let's face it, there's definitely some common themes. So these artists use a huge amount of colour, they use a lot of geometry, and they use text. Now, when you sort of listed everything that they have in common, I don't think you should then just copy that. In fact, I almost think you should do the opposite. You should take bits that you love and other bits you could think about how you can do them differently. So for me, I was like, right, I absolutely love colour. So colour is definitely gonna be featured heavily in my style. And so when it came to shapes, I thought, right, instead of using this sort of hardline geometry, I'm gonna create something that's a little bit more fluid in comparison. And then lastly, when it came to text, I decided to go a very different route and I would tell my stories using people. And now this gives me a kind of brief for developing my own kind of work. I want it to be colourful, I want it to be free form, and I want it to involve people. So for this task, I then again want you to look at the artists that you look up to, write down what you'd like to do similarly to them, and also, more importantly, what you are going to do differently. Now it is time for the graft. It is time for you to get your reps in. Whether that's drawing or collage or paint, you need to start doing it again and again and again. When I first started my journey to come up with an art style to be able to do murals, I actually drew solidly for a year before I even attempted a commission. I actually started a secret Instagram account, which I never told anyone about, and I set myself a mission to post 100 drawings in a year. This was a great way for me to like get my reps in, but not feel like the pressure of people watching me develop an art style, because I was kind of doing it in a place that no one knew about. But to get some accountability and also not feel so alone, I did do online art challenges. So I did 36 days of type, and I also did Inktober. Those challenges really helped kind of push my work further and help me develop my style quicker, which was fantastic. I'm now actually learning a new medium. I don't want to just work on my tablet. I want to do some traditional work as well. So I'm doing the same thing. I am giving myself 1 year to do 300 drawings to really, again, just level up my skill set quickly. So your next task is to like either find an accountability buddy, or maybe you could open up a secret Instagram account or TikTok account, whatever you want to do, and just start posting there or getting in the rhythm of actually getting your reps in. At the end of the day, what you're gonna need to do is work again and again and again to actually refine your style over time. Okay, lastly, the key thing about finding your style is thinking about what is your sort of signature moves. The idea with a style of artwork is that even if your name wasn't on it, someone would be able to look at it and think, oh, that's Hannah Bennyhood, for example. Style is all about your work being recognisable. So what I did is that I tested and slowly created a visual vocabulary which kind of keeps on cropping up in my work. For example, I absolutely loved sort of drawing love hearts, but I didn't want it to be like sickly and saccharine. So I started to think about, what if I hid love hearts or like integrated them in the work in a way that you didn't expect? And slowly what that meant is that I started using hearts within like joints of a person, so in their elbows or their knees or their knuckles in their hands, and I would kind of integrate love hearts into that work. Another thing what I thought about in terms of like having a signature style but also thinking about integrating lots of colour is that I decided when I was drawing my people that I wouldn't have them hyper realistic. I never use natural skin tones, so all the people that I draw are brightly coloured. Layering on top of that, I then started changing the colour of the nose. Again, it adds this additional layer of colours in a way that you might not expect it. I also really lent into the medium that I was using. So first, when I initially started, I was actually using like brushes that look like pens, but then I thought, no, I'm on a tablet, why don't I use actual vectors? And this too informed the art style. My lines are incredibly crisp because I have the ability to do that on a tablet. It also meant that I changed how I drew eyebrows, just using a single line to really emphasize the fact that I was working in vectors. And over time, this added up to just the way that I draw people now and my own artistic style. So your next task is to think about creating a visual vocabulary and things that are signatures to you that you can incorporate in all your pieces so people can kind of spot them and then know that it's your work. I found this process really fun to like test different things and see what would work and wouldn't work and what I felt drawn to. So yeah, just like really enjoy the process. Like I said, this did take quite a while for me, and I'm going to show you, this was the first post I ever did on my secret Instagram account. And this is what I got to after a year. I continued to develop this style of work, and as I predicted, it led to mural commissions. Murals now make up the majority of my income, and they are proving to be a stepping stone to installation work as I hoped. Remember, creating an artistic style is an ongoing process and you don't have to feel locked to one thing. If anything, I think people really enjoy following artists along their career and watching them develop. And now personally, what I'm doing is trying to think about like, okay, when I switch to different mediums, how do I still keep my signature art style, or how can one medium inspire another medium? And it makes me a lot more flexible as an artist if I know I have these things that I can kind of take across from project to project, so things still feel like me regardless of what I'm doing.
Hi guys, it's Hannah from the future here. It's Monday night. I thought this video was all done, it's scheduled, it's on YouTube, and I'm just walking back from the gym. When I was in my step class, I was like, oh my god, I've forgotten something huge. And I thought, can I just leave it out? And I was like, I can't leave it out, it's too important. So when you are self-taught, what is super important is that you need to find someone who you trust, who can critique your work. It's like absolutely essential because you won't be able to see the forest for the trees. So don't find someone who tells you everything is great. So maybe find another artist or a designer that you can trust. And if you are having a real like existential crisis about your work, which I have had a couple of times, you can actually hire a art consultant. I have worked with Penny Lane Shen. I met her in Vancouver, but you can do like appointments over Zoom. She runs an organisation called Dazed and Confucius. She's absolutely brilliant. I will leave her details in the description. Yeah, you could check her out if you are looking for some sort of professional help to look at your work. I will pre-warn you, she delivers some truth bombs. I might have come out of my first session in tears, but I went back. I still think she's brilliant at like assessing where you are. Anyway, I'm gonna get in, take the video down and edit this in. Don't say I'm not committed to this, hey. Put myself on the internet looking like a hot mess just so I can add this bit in. Back to Hannah in the past.
So that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. It's great for me. It tells the algorithm that this video is worth watching. And if you want to see more of my content, please do subscribe because I will be back again soon. But for today, that's all. Speak soon.